This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. It's so great to have you with us. Topping news, the Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama addressing residents during a special town meeting last night at the Church of the Ascension Hall. In a candid address, he told residents that the government is well aware of the employment challenges on this island while explaining how the current hiring freeze will work. Shashina Roll reports.
The well-attended meeting drew a wide sector of the community who heard about the status of Grand Bahama and the way forward. The Deputy Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama, Peter Turnquest, gave an update on the Grand Lucayan, noting that the government is actively negotiating with various partners to get the hotel up and running. But he notes that the number one challenge on this island is jobs, and adds that there has been many concerns surrounding the Prime Minister's announcement of a hiring freeze.
I've had some teachers in particular who have said, well, what does that mean for us? We graduated and we were expecting to go to work for the government. And as I've said to them, where there is a need for a skill, the freeze does not mean that those needs will not be filled. What it means is that we will not have indiscriminate hiring because of political loyalties or because of friend or whatever, but we will hire to fill the skills gaps that we have and the service gaps that we have.
But he encourages residents to go where the opportunities may take them throughout the country.
They may find that the job may not be on Grand Bahama. It may be in Abaco, it might be in Long Island, it may be in Exuma.
The Deputy Prime Minister says the government is well aware of the challenges on this island, and that is why they are fighting to create a better economic environment. But in doing so, they have to do what needs to be done.
I get calls every day, all day, about jobs. As I said, we certainly understand the stresses that are evident here in Grand Bahama and throughout the country. Unfortunately, we cannot provide jobs for everybody. It's just impossible. It's kind of what's gotten us where we are.
In speaking to the country's financial status, he says the IMF and Moody's, who recently evaluated the country, noted that there has been a sharp spike in the wage bill.
They talk about the pension liabilities that go with that. And we have to get that under control. We've had a tremendous rise in the payroll cost.
But he says better days are ahead, as the level of interest in Grand Bahama and the country is extremely high at this time. Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
A new cultural event officially opened on Grand Bahama last night. The initiative is spearheaded by the Office of the Prime Minister Grand Bahama, along with a number of corporate entities to bring an economic boost to the island. Italia Hall reports.
It was a showcase of Bahamian culture as Bahamians came together for a taste of Port Lucaya on Thursday night. Attendees were entertained with a Junkanoo rush out, music, Bahamian craft, food, and much more. The Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, was in attendance, and he says he's pleased with the amount of persons that showed up.
The important thing is I've walked around, I've looked in the restaurants, I've looked in the stores, and there are people who are spending money. There are people who are supporting these businesses. So I believe the vendors, I believe the folks who came out for the entertainment, I believe everybody really is pleased about what is happening tonight.
And the minister says the fun does not stop here.
It's the first night. Tonight is the kickoff night. And so we expect that every other Friday for the next about 2 months, we're going to be doing this. So we're going to be continuing to build off of what we started here tonight. It is really a consistent effort to bring economic relief here to Port Lucaya. We believe if we can bring the economic relief to Port Lucaya, that it really then is going to come and get to Grand Bahama. We know that we have to get those hotels across the street opened up. We are urgently and actively doing that. As the Prime Minister said, we are actively doing that and working on it.
Charlotte Bethel says she believes this event is exactly what Grand Bahama needs.
I decided to be a part of this event tonight to support my Bahamian culture. I love it. I enjoyed it. I went to every Thursday night Gumbe, and when I heard that this was being held out here again tonight, I couldn't resist. I had to come out to support it. My little 5-year-old, he's also a fan of Bahamian culture, and I'm trying to get him into it as well.
Ralph Hepburn encouraged residents to always support one another.
So that we can see Freeport moving again. And even though we're waiting on tourists to come to the island, we need to do something now to help ourselves to move forward. So that's why I'm supporting, to see how much I can do to help our brothers and sisters continue to stay alive.
Tourists were out in full force as well, dancing to the musical beats. These visitors from North Carolina even had the opportunity to play with the Rake and Scrape band.
He's a musician, so he loves to be up in front of the crowd and to be able to play any instrument. So it was great for him to play something new.
Italia Hall, ZNS Network News.
In other news, some areas of Grand Bahama affected by power outages recently, and tonight a company official outlines the restoration process and how this island's sole power provider is meeting those challenges head-on. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
So we look at what impact it had on the communities and what
According to the Director of Resource Management of the Grand Bahama Power Company, Fulcher Grant, Grand Bahama Power Company crews have been working around the clock to address the concerns of consumers. Mother Nature, she says, the blame for the spate of recent power outages here on Grand Bahama.
We've been having some effects from a diminishing tropical storm. Even though we didn't have a direct hit, we still felt the impact of the system. As a result of that, we had some thunderstorms and lightning that affected the power to the customers in South Bahama. Dundee Bay is a part of that South Bahama area that would have been having the initial effects from the thunderstorm-related outages. Those were resolved.
Grant stated that their challenges do not stop there.
There was another issue that was impacting those customers. We got a call sometime yesterday in the earlier part of the day saying that customers in that area were experiencing partial power and no power outages. We sent our crews to investigate, and we found out that we had a faulty switch and underground primary conductors that we needed to change out.
The local power executive is asking for the public's continued patience and support as Grand Bahama Power Company moves to address these and other issues.
We're making sure that we're doing all the necessary steps to storm harden our system to make sure that we're ready for the hurricane system. So besides all of this reactive work that's going on, we want people to know that we're doing a lot of proactive things. So we apologize again for the inconvenience that our customers have been experiencing, and we want to know that we are committed to providing safe, reliable service to our customers.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
The Police Summer Camp 2017 wrapped up Friday morning at Freeport Bible Church, where the Royal Bahamas Police Force held the closing ceremony. Kimberly Mullings was there and tells us that the past 6 weeks of camp was a great time for all.
The Police Summer Camp Northern Bahamas District coming to a close after 6 weeks with some 600 campgoers at 7 locations across Grand Bahama Island, Abaco, and Bimini. Deputy Commissioner of Police and Officer in charge of Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas District, Emmerich Seymour.
We've been entertaining, and of course we've been teaching, we've been training the kids in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini to ensure that we keep them in tune with wholesome activities during the extended summer months. I can tell you that the camp itself, the camp experience was extremely rewarding for us, facilitating the process, and of course beneficial to the attendees. And so it was a smashing success.
Kelly Hudson, an aspiring police officer, volunteered this year for the 2nd year in a row and describes her experience as amazing.
It was truly jam-packed, really. The highlight would have been the Marine section and also UNEXO. So I enjoy working with the children. We did crafts, we did field trips, we had the K9 unit, the detective unit, the drug unit. They would have walked away with Jesus, honestly, because the highlight of the camp would have really been our devotions.
Little Chloe Murray says there were lots of things for her to do at Police Summer Camp this year. Daniel Mitchell agreed.
We went to the Legos boat, we been to the police Marine. We had fun to camp. We did arts and craft. We learned about God. We learned about all the things that we learned for this day's camp. This camp was awesome.
It was good. We played dominoes and we did some fun stuff.
Jalen Pinder attended camp for the entire duration and thought it was a fun experience.
We learned a lot about what the police do in the different aspects, like the drug unit and the canine, and then we went on the speedboat with the Marines and see how they catch immigrants or stuff like that. I learned that fighting don't solve problems, and watch certain friends you keep, because some people ain't really there to help you.
Parent Cheryl Moss had 3 children attend camp this year. She says they found it educational and adventurous, and she's looking forward to next year already.
6 full weeks. I mean, if you don't have anything for your kids to do, and they're on the island, I would encourage parents to come out and sign up for the next summer camp. I am excited. I give hats off to the Royal Bahamas Police Force for putting on such an awesome camp. I pray that next year be even more fantastic.
Alive presented the top camper from each division in Grand Bahama with a special gift as well. Kimberly Mullings, ZNS Network News.
The Minister of State for Grand Bahama in the Office of the Prime Minister, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, believes that the camp fosters positive interactions between law enforcement officers and children, and he commended the Royal Bahamas Police Force for their efforts.
It is a worthwhile investment. It is better to have a relationship with them now than to have another kind of relationship with them later. And so I want to commend the police for the actions that you are doing. What you are doing here today is worth more than buying more cars, is worth more than building jails, is worth more than building police stations. What you are doing here now is far, far more valuable.
Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable K. Peter Turnquest, also attended the closing ceremony and congratulated the police for not only extending the summer camp this year, but for seeing to the need to invest in the lives of the nation's youth.
A lot of children lack structure and discipline, and through these kind of camps, they learn about themselves, they learn some good characteristics of a responsible citizen, and they learn a bit of self-discipline. And so just a structure, being around the sort of disciplined structure helps them to realize who they are and to feel good about themselves. And so this is a very important program. The mentorship and the leadership that is displayed will help them to develop their characters and again, develop that self-esteem and respect for themselves that will carry them through.
Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.